Hey, let's all protest Starbucks because racism. Hey, thanks for watching. So today I'm going to talk about this latest Starbucks story out of Philadelphia where two guys were arrested for waiting for a friend in a Starbucks. And right off the bat, I want to preface this by saying that I really don't like talking about race much. And it's not that I'm opposed to talking about race. I think the thing that concerns me when talking about race, especially as a white man, right? The thing that concerns me is often these issues with race get reduced to be very, very simple. And I think that race is very complicated. And, you know, I am into the complicated things, right? I named my channel Coffee and Nuance, right? The nuance. I like to get into the nuggets, the details. I think that most things are more complicated than they're presented. And I think that race is a complicated thing. And so I am up for discussions about it that aren't oversimplified. And it seems in this Starbucks case, this seems very, very simplified. I'll just give you one example. We'll hear that the average income of a black is less than the average income of a white American, right? And that's true. That's a fact. But you just can't say, see, racism, right? It's more complicated than that. There's many reasons, or there are many factors that might explain why blacks make less money than whites. And one of those would be racism, right? One of the factors, but there's lots of factors. For example, the median age of a white American is 43, and the median age of a black American is 33. If you have two separate groups, one is 43 and one is 33, you would expect that the group that's 43 would make more than the group that's 33. That's right. You can accept that. And that would be one of the reasons why blacks on average make less than whites. Another reason would be racism, of course. I'm not denying that it doesn't exist, but I don't think that it is the end-all be-all of every single thing. These things are complicated, and that's the problem that I see talking about race is we often get an oversimplified narrative, and I don't think that that's very useful. So let's get into this Starbucks story. So two black guys, because that's the important part here, went to a Starbucks, and they went in, and one of the gentlemen asked to use the restroom, and they were told, hey, restrooms are for customers only, you got to buy something. And he didn't want to buy anything. Okay. And they sat down at a table, and they were told by the Starbucks employee, hey, hanging out here is for customers. You have to buy something or you can leave. And they said, we're not going to buy anything and we're not going to leave. Okay. And these are just the facts of what happened. So the employee said that he would call the police, and he called the police and he told them, hey, I'm calling the police. And they said, we're not going to leave. Okay. So 15 minutes, the police show up. They go in and they say, hey, you can't hang out here. You've been asked to leave. And they said, we're not leaving. And they were told that if they wanted to hang out, right, they had to purchase something. They've been asked to leave, so they needed to leave. And they refused to leave. And they were asked 3 times by the police to leave, and they didn't leave. And then they were subsequently arrested. And so the presumption here is this all happened because they were black, right? That's what we're hearing in the media, is the reason these guys were arrested is because they were black. Well, that may be one of the reasons that they were arrested. Okay? But the reason they were arrested is they were trespassing, they were asked to leave, and they didn't leave. And they were asked 3 times by the police to leave, and they didn't leave. I don't know what you want a business to do. I don't know what you want the police to do. If they ask you to leave and you don't leave, What should be done? I don't know. I think this was a horrible mistake on Starbucks' part. They handled it in the wrong way. But to then say that this is a whole big racism thing, I don't see it myself. I could be wrong, but I don't see everything as being racist, right? My point of view is not everything in the world is racist. I know that if I went to a business and I didn't purchase something and I was asked to leave, I would probably leave. And if I stayed there and the cops showed up and the cops asked me to leave, I would leave. But that's just me. I think if you stay at that point, you're trying to make a point. And that's what these guys were doing. They were trying to make a point. And they made their point. And apparently, right, they're victims of racism, even though they didn't purchase anything. They were asked to leave, and they didn't. And they were told by the police 3 times to leave, and they didn't. But apparently it's all because, Starbucks and the cops, they're all racist. I think it's more complicated than that. I think discussions of race are more complicated than this oversimplification that we've seen in the Starbucks story. But hey, this is great news, because now anytime I want to have a meeting with someone, I can just meet at Starbucks. I don't have to buy anything, and I don't have to leave if they ask me to leave. I can just stay. I can show up, get free Wi-Fi, don't have to buy their coffee. It's fantastic. I might start bringing my own coffee, because we all know that Starbucks coffee is terrible. This is my own personal thing. I love coffee. I love coffee so much, I named my channel after coffee. I drink coffee daily. I would love it if I could go to Starbucks because they're everywhere, but I drink my coffee black for the most part, meaning I don't put in sugar or cream. And Starbucks roasts their coffee to such an extent that it's really nasty if you don't add anything to it. I think maybe the reason they do it is it tastes better when they make all their big sugary drinks. But if you're just drinking it alone, it's just terrible. But now maybe I can bring my own coffee into Starbucks and I can hang out and use the Wi-Fi and the restroom and not have to buy anything. That's great news for me. I meet people all the time. Often we'll meet at a coffee shop. I'll buy a coffee. I'll tip $1, because I'm not a scumbag. And now I don't have to do that anymore at all. I can just go to a Starbucks and not buy anything. This is great news for me personally. I'm not going to do that. I'll go to a good coffee shop and I'll buy a coffee. But anyway, I could be totally wrong about this, and if I am, I'm sure I'll hear about it in the comments. So let me know. Peace. You can help me reach my goal of 1,000 subscribers by clicking the like button and subscribing. Thanks.